This is a YouTube channel request. Chainsaw Man for 2022 is pretty dang good. It's gonna be a spoiler review. I want to talk about some things from the show. Also, if you want me to do, let me know. Please put in the comment section below and I get to it as best as I can. I also have a Patreon/Zakka for $2 a month. Get the cut in front of everybody, get your review out way before it comes out on Facebook and YouTube. Now, let's go ahead and get into today's episode of Chainsaw Man 2022. And what is this show about? This show is about a guy named Denji who is a devil hunter scraping by. He's working for the Yakuza, and one day the Yakuza pretty much betrays him and leave him out to dead. And he has this little buddy, this little dog-like creature that has a chainsaw in it. It's a chainsaw devil that pretty much saves his life and become merged into one and become the Chainsaw Man. And after that, Denji gets recruited by a group of safety officers called public safety that fight devil hunters, or so not fight devil hunters, but fight devils. They're devil hunters that fight devils, and Denji gets recruited underneath them. And that's pretty much the gist of Chainsaw Man Season 1. The things that I liked. Denji. I like the main character. He's a 16-year-old boy, and I say this because his motivation is the most purest thing a 16-year-old and young man, not even 16, but a young man who never had any interaction with women. One, he just wanted to be with a girl. It is that simple. It is that simple. He literally says episode 1, he was like, you know, I just want to sit down and play video games with a cute girl who plays video games with me. We have good food. And I was like, this guy's like me. This guy's like me for real. Like, it pulled a heartstring for me. And later in the season, when he's like fighting bad guys and people they're like, why are you doing this for? And he's like, I'm doing this because I want to hook up. He's like, I don't care about all your justice and your vengeance and your revenge and your higher morale. He's like, I just want to touch boobies. Like, it is so hilarious to me. Now I was like, oh, this guy reminds me of a young guy. He reminds me of a younger me, a younger guy, like just somebody who never had an interaction with girls, and he's finally getting that moment to talk to women after becoming the Chainsaw Man. But before, he was just in a low rundown building with his buddy, Pochito, who's a chainsaw devil, and that was it. He was yearning for a bigger like lifestyle. And to add to that, he got put in that situation because his dad owed a debt to the Yakuza, and he had to pay the debt off that his dad didn't pay off when he died. So he was stuck with this amounts of debt that no matter what he does, he can never get ahead. So he just barely scraping by until he becomes the Chainsaw Devil and meet Makima and the public safety devil hunter group, that his life changes. And Denji is probably literally the best thing. I watched this in dub and Japanese, and the dub version of Denji is great. Like, there's a scene where a girl asks him, so like, you want to get with Makima? And he goes, yes.
So, you're serious about getting with Miss Makima?
Yes. Like, the smile and everything, yes. Like, the smile and everything with that scene is just perfect. Denji is one of the best things about Chainsaw Man, and I love his character. But also not just him, but the other characters in the show are pretty dang good too. Power and Aki, they're really cool characters as well, and they all have different personality, and their personalities shine. The animation is another thing I love about this show. The animation is really, really good. It is bloody at times, and the comedy it's a comedy too, but there's comedy and sometimes it's really sexual over the top, but it is, and it's bloody is a lot too. But the color work, the artwork that's put into the animation of certain scenes and the fight scenes, the choreography of it is just really, really good. The first episode is a little bit of a trip, not gonna lie. When Denji first turns into the Chainsaw Devil, and they're using the 3D animation versus like the 2D hand-drawn animation. When they're using 3D animation, it did stand out, but by the show progressed, it got a lot better, where you're like, I didn't really notice the 3D figures. When Denji is fighting, or Chainsaw Man is fighting the zombies in episode 1, you're just like, yeah, I can see the animation is not that good. It reminded me of Attack on Titan season 3 when the Colossal Titan transform and he looks out of place because the animation changed versus the hand-drawn animation of the anime itself. It's similar to that, like Studio Mappa, who also worked on Chainsaw Man and worked on Attack on Titan. You can see where maybe the budget wasn't stronger in some episodes versus other episodes. Another thing I like is the music. The music is really good in this show too, and there's times where the music really pulls you in. It is really good music. The setting and tone that comes with it is solid. And the show does a good job of building up characters where you get invested with them for a few episodes, and then something goes sideways. You're like, no. So I do give the story props on that. It does pull you in on characters based off the viewpoint from Denji, who really, the dude is just trying to get laid at the end of the day. And it's like, yep. The writer is definitely a guy for this. I 100%, like, there's no way you tell me it's not a dude who wrote this. And there's this episode I can think of where Denji is taking it back to an older lady's apartment, not even by himself. Like, it is a very scary moment. If you watch it and the genders was reversed, because it stood out to me. Like, the gender was reversed. It was a guy and a girl situation where the guy did it to a girl. It's terrifying. It's horrible. But because of the older lady doing it to a younger guy, it's still bad, just as bad. It's horrible, but nobody bats an eye. And I'm glad the show got to the point where Denji's like, nah, I'm not about to go through with this. And the girl who drags him back to his place because he was drunk and she was super hammered, but she had enough conscience to bring him back and try to have her way with him. And he was like, I'm not doing this, no. And he almost did it, but he had a sucker from Makima who kind of gave him a pseudo kiss. She had a sucker in her mouth. She put it in his mouth, and like we had just shared a kiss. He was like, I want her, so I'm not about to ruin this moment and ruin my thing that I have with her for a moment right now. And I was like, whew, I'm so glad the writer did not continue with this, because it was getting really terrifying there for a moment. And then the next day, the girl's like, I blacked out what happened. I was like, no, no. And Denji was like, yeah, we didn't do anything. And I'm like, thank goodness. Thank goodness. But that's a very scary moment that the show, and nobody talks about, because there's a guy getting taken advantage of, and just as scary. Like, that's something that should be talked about a lot more and paid more attention to. But I love this show. I love the writing. I love the storyline. I love the viewpoint of this show as well. And just like, to me, I'm like, yeah, this is a character who just wants to get laid, and that's all he's after. His goal is very, very minimal. And I actually like, he's not like, I want to save the world kind of guy. He's just like, I want to get laid, and whoever feeds me more, it's the side, or takes care of me, is the side that I will side with. If devil's going to take care of me, give it a nice house, nice place to stay, I'm siding with them. Humans want to do it, I'm going to side with the humans. And I'm like, this guy here. Another thing on the music and art. This show has a different ending for every episode. The end credits is different on every episode. And you're somebody who's like, I'm not going to watch the end credits, stay around, because the credits not only pertain to what happened in that show, in that episode, but it's different music, different genres, and it's really good. The artwork is different as well for different endings. So stay around for that. It's a really cool treat. The opening theme song is fun. Like, I don't want to put it in my top 10, but I think I put it in my top 20. But the opener and the animation for the opener as well, to show you how chaotic the show is, how chaotic the show can be. The different clips of things going on and things that's happening all over the place. And it really encapsulates what Chainsaw Man is about. Any dislikes? I don't really have a dislike, besides some CG animation might stand out. There's the episode where Maki kind of shows her powers and what she can do, but later that episode you see Aiki walking in a hallway and the 3D figures look really out of place. But other than that, like, I don't really have a dislike. I did binge it. Like, I wasn't expecting to binge it. I ended up binging episode 2 through like 8. Just sat down and just watched it all. And then it cut off because I cut off because there's no more episodes in sub, or in dub, so I started watching in sub, and then sub I was ended up being a week behind from everybody else, so I ended up catching up to everybody on the show and finished it when the season finished on Crunchyroll. I don't really have a really big dislike for this show. I don't, not for right now. Like, the storyline dragged, the animation was off at a certain piece, but wasn't something that was so distracting where you couldn't continue watching the show. Episode 1 was kind of rough, but other than that, like, most animation was good. I would say, now thinking about it, a dislike that I do have is I don't know where devils come from. They might have mentioned it, but like everybody's used to, like, there's devils who make patches or make bonds or pledges with humans, and humans can use their ability for some kind of part of their body or for some part of their lifespan. Like, there's one character who can summon a snake, but anytime she summons a snake, she has ripped part of her fingernail off, so her nails are bleeding and the snake appears. Denji merged with the Chainsaw Devil, so that's how he became the Chainsaw Man. But like, we don't know where devils come from. And then the end of season 1, they dropped off like 5 devil hybrid humans or fiends who are like not devils but humanoid devils in a sense. And they just dropped them off, and like these characters here, and they just cut off. Like, you don't know what happened to the Strike guy or the Angel girl or Angel guy, Angel girl, I don't know, or the girl who's a spider chick. Like, you don't know what happened to these characters because they just drop them off there. And I want to know what's going to happen in season 2, because the end of season 1 is like, bloop, there they are, and then we're not going to really talk about them. So we probably get more interaction with them in season 2 for sure, but that's probably one dislike I have with season 1. Okay, let's go ahead and get into the characters and details of Chainsaw Man. Like, it came out in 2022. I think this episode comes out, this will be 2003. So yeah, it came out last year. 2022 is the end of 2022. Chainsaw Man is written by Tatsuki Fujimoto, and the anime is made by Studio Mappa. Characters, you have Denji. I kind of raised it up about Denji. The dude just a cool character. I like him. He's smart, but he acts dumb at times. It's so simple. He's just a simple guy that like can be relatable from any guy's perspective. Like, any guy can relate to Denji. Like, his motivations, what he wants in life, simple, super simple. It like makes no sense. But then when you become Chainsaw Man, he's more just like, I don't give a crap. I'm gonna cut anything down that's stopping me my goals, and that's also hurting my friends. That's what Denji is about. Like, he went from being by himself with no friends to having one friend who was Pachita, who is the Chainsaw Devil, to having Power and Aki, who is really close or becoming closer friends to him, that he's gonna stand up and fight for them. And Denji, there's an episode where Denji fought like 3 days straight to save the rest of the group, which is crazy to think about. But he's a good dude. He's a good dude. Then you have Aki, who he's probably the more reserved guy in the group. He doesn't really like lose his cool for the most part. He's calm, chill, and level-headed. He's the one kind of keep everybody together. When he goes down, everybody kind of loses their crap and starts panicking and flipping out. I like his character. I like what he's about. I wish I get more from him, and hopefully we do in season 2. But he is probably the cool part of the group. And it's funny, at the end of season 2, end of season 1, I don't know if it was intentional, but the animation for Power, Denji, and Aki reminded me of Sasuke, Naruto, and Sakura. Because Denji is wearing all orange. He's like orange, yellow haired, orange head. Aki has black hair, and he is similar to, remind me of Sasuke. And then Power, Power is definitely not Sakura anywhere. But just like her, I think her hair is light brown. But the color she was wearing that part, I was like, it might be of Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura. I wonder if it was a tip of the hat to the Naruto group from Chainsaw's creator. But yeah, I like Aki. I think he's a cool character. See what happens with him. Every show needs like a badass character. He is that guy. Power. Power is amazing. I love Power. She is a fiend character, and I believe I said this right. She is, yeah, a blood fiend. And she pretty much uses blood to make weapons and stuff like that. She's amazing. She thinks she's the strongest, the best, the most sexiest person in the world. Her confidence is through the roof, and I love her for this. Like, she says stupid stuff and do things. She's like, no, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I'm going to do this how I want to do it. And they're like, no, Power, you can't just come in here and not flush the toilet. Power, you can't come in here and not throw food around. Like, Aki and Denji, when they first met her, and she's living with them, it was like, the frick are you doing here? Get your stuff together. I love Power. I love the dynamic that she brings to the group. She fights a little bit, but most part right now in this season, she's the background character in a sense. Like, she's there and she does it with Denji on like off the sides versus like actual like in most of the fights. And I'm curious to see what happens going forward. I do like Power. And also another thing I like about that, because it's cool seeing characters hang out. I like how Chainsaw Man has characters hanging out. They're going to the bar. They're going just hanging out at the house, hanging around, laying around, doing things, living normal life. I do like that, because most shows you don't get that. Usually you're in with them out on a journey somewhere, so they're not really at home doing comfortable stuff. Chainsaw Man brings a little bit of that slice of life to the show, and I do like that. I like how the characters just chill and hang out and then go do a mission and come back and play video games or, you know, watch a movie or eat food together. I like that little slice of life. It's kind of like what they do with their daily lives while as well as their job. It's kind of cool. I think it's just a nice concept. What is a fiend? A fiend is a devil that took over a human's corpse and pretty much takes on a human shape and still retains some of the devil abilities and sometimes can merge into the human's thought process of that corpse that took over. That is the devil, and that is a fiend, so that's what Power is. Let's go and talk about Makima. Makima is the head of pretty much Denji's division, and she is a pretty powerful character. We don't know exactly what her abilities are. We can see it in season 1, I think episode 9. Yeah, 9 or 10. But we really don't know much about her besides the fact that she kind of controls Denji, and she says Denji is her dog, and as long as he does whatever she wants, he's cool to live, be alive, and do what he wants to do and live a good life. And Denji is in love with her. He doesn't really know why, but he just really loves her and the way she looks and everything. She thinks she's gorgeous and a woman who fed him and took him in. So he's really in debt and also in love with with Makima. And that's also Aki as well. He really loves Makima as well. And they're trying to win over her heart. And that's kind of like the love relationship, love triangle in this. Makima's kind of like, you guys are cool. She seems more like a wall is up. And we don't know much about her until maybe season 2. We probably learn more about her. But as of right now, she's just kind of like the person in charge and keeps Denji around and feeds Denji, and Denji's in love with her. That's pretty much Makima at this point in time. And then you also have Himino. I'll talk about Himino because Himino was like my favorite character. I loved her. Like from her introduction when she came in, and then when she made a deal with like Denji and the rest of the group, and how she was kind of like keeping her cool and just kind of level headed. I loved her. And then the whole like taking Denji back home to her place, I was like, oh gosh, this is horrible. And that kiss scene was horrible, but her powers and her abilities, I thought she was a cool character. I just thought she was a cool character, and it sucks that she's not around anymore. And I'm like, God dang it. It'd be cool to get more of her dynamic. I thought she mixed in well with the group, and then her and Denji was going to work on trying to get, Himino was going to work on getting Denji hooked up with Makima, and then Denji was going to work on getting Aki hooked up with Himino. But we might not ever get that. And Aki does have some feeling for Himino too. And they are, you know, they've been around each other for so long. There was something there that, you know, we probably won't get, sadly. But I did love that dynamic be there before it went sideways in the show. The last person I want to talk about is Kobeni. Kobeni is the panic freak character who freaks out over every little detail, and she loses her mind where you're like, she shouldn't be in this job. Like there's a scene where they're trapped in a hallway that just keeps repeating itself because of a devil that they're inside of. You walked inside this hotel, you end up being inside the devil's body, and he just kept going through the same hallway, this endless loop for like hours on end and days. And Kabina's up there losing her mind. She's like, I'm not ready for this job, I'm not made for this job. But then she had one of the best scenes in the show where she's fighting the snake devil and doing all these cool things. You're like, oh, so she's not just a worthless character, she's pretty powerful in her own right. She just loses her mind. She's not all there. But the animation scene with her and she's watching the car drive away, and as she's holding Denji, she's like, her head slowly moves with it. Just little details like that. She looks away as the car drives and just kind of hunts the car down. I thought it was a cool little touch. Like, she's a cool character, and I'm curious to see what happens more in the future with her as well. Any other thoughts? No, I think the animation for the show is really, really good. Like, it's some top tier animation for 2002. Like, it is, sorry, 2022. 2002, how many years did I go back in the past? If I went back in the past and saw Chainsaw Man in the past, I'd be like, what is this? But no, this show is really, really good, and I don't have much else to say about it. Is this a show you can binge? Yes, binge Chainsaw Man, have a good day at it, and great time. I'm going to grade Chainsaw Man Season 1 a solid B. It's 85% for me. There's some things in here for our storyline that's not complete, but it's also the first season, but it's a good way to start of a season. I think it's really strong. I love the character's motivation. I love the artwork and animation. I love how the ending credits are different every time. It's just some good stuff. And I'm excited to see what happens in Season 2. Let's go ahead and talk about what IMDb ranked Chainsaw Man as. IMDb gives it 8.7 out of 10. That's a B+. Crunchyroll gives it a 4.5 out of 9. That would be an A. And my anime list gives it a 8.7 out of 10. So that's also a B+. Well, 89%, 88%, so B+. I'm 85, my B's are 85%, so to me, 87, 8.7, 87% is about a B+. So we're all on the same page here when it comes to Chainsaw Man Season 1. If you've seen Chainsaw Man Season 1, what did you think? Please put in the comment section below, and see you guys in the next episode of Movie Breakdowns. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. I really appreciate that. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. If there's a review you want me to watch or do, let me know. Please put it in the comment section below this video. Also, you want to watch the last episode of Movie Breakdowns, it's right there. Just gotta click on it and you'll be able to watch it. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Love y'all, and keep being awesome.